can stay awake just to hear you breathing. Come on, Kevin, I know you know the song.
I do know the song.
Why you're what?
Stop butchering the song, man.
I think you'll find that was spot on.
Ruining my childhood memories.
See, already, so like this is going to be quite fun because you're obviously, I'd like to introduce episode 8 with Kevin Abdulrahman, who is the man inspiring millions.
Did you say Kevin?
Yeah, it was more of a Filipino Kevin.
Right.
Kevin. And also a motivational speaker and see, I was going to say vocal coach.
Not at all.
Because you're not, because you don't
No.
teach presidents how to sing.
Not
But
at
that
all.
could be something pretty cool. If
Not for me.
The King's Speech, no?
Yeah.
Yeah?
No, we do that exercise.
You do that exercise, right?
Yeah.
When I first saw that, I was actually like, well, I'm a bit weird. Whenever I see stuff like that, I start crying.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Not even The King's Speech. Did you see the teacher there was a kid who had a stutter in school? And, at the end of the year, these kids, they all kind of stand up and speak about their year and everything to all the other students. And the teacher kind of took the King's Speech idea and put music in his ears. And so while he was giving his end of year speech, he wasn't stuttering in front of all the other kids.
Nice.
And it was
I
like
haven't seen
really
it.
emotional. And even
Okay.
the other kids in his class were like crying.
Send me the clip.
Yeah, I'll send that to you. And I'm like that with everything, with like X Factor, with Disney. I'm always just like,
I love it.
like, when somebody doesn't look like they're supposed to be able to have a really good voice, and then all of a sudden they start belting it out, and I'm just like,
You are the exact audience demographic
right,
that they're
exactly.
targeting.
And my wife's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "No." Yeah. So let's get back to this motivational speaking and
So serious.
yeah. Why are you so serious? Remind me again, because my mind goes blank when it comes to
At least you're honest.
yeah. What is it that you do, which is good because then they will get to know as well. With you've done a lot of stuff with really high end CEOs and presidents and that kind of stuff. What kind of stuff do you focus on with them?
With them, I do. So I'm a motivational speaker
Mm-hmm.
and public speaking coach to CEOs and world leaders.
Mm.
So with the CEOs and world leaders, it's more behind the scene.
Yeah.
And it comes down to what their requirements is. When you're in a place of position, people have an expectation of you.
Yeah.
They
exactly.
expect you to speak well.
Yeah.
Just because you're a leader, just because
Exactly.
Yeah, you are Mr. or Mrs.
Exactly.
so and so.
They kind of forget that you're just a person too who, has the same kind of anxieties
Sure.
and stuff like that, because you could be so far ahead in your job, but still not like public speaking or not like the spotlight being on you so much when it comes to on the spot or even rehearse stuff. Sometimes people don't have that talent that they can just rehearse stuff and it comes out perfect.
Yes.
So they have to kind of be trained into how to do that, right?
It's a skill, man. It's a skill. Excuse me.
That's fine.
It's a skill, and a lot of people have overlooked it, or they thought, I'll get away with it.
Right.
And now we're just, in the kind of world that we're living in, especially with social media, it's bringing it to the forefront.
Yeah.
And more people are realizing, hey, this is a skill I must have.
And you can't get away with not having it, right?
And you can't. It's just, this is like swimming. You can't read about it. You need to be able to do it.
Yeah.
But you need to do it because your job is on the line.
Yeah. and it
Now,
depends on-
wherever your job is in the spectrum,
Yeah.
if you're a junior individual who's
Yeah.
just pitching for ideas, or
Yeah.
you want to get someone's attention in a board meeting, or you're a salesperson, you're trying to sell your product, then you're going up the ranks where you're in a leadership position, and people have that expectation that you speak well, that you're able to deliver a message succinctly
Yeah.
and with impact. Most people aren't born
Like ready to do that.
Yeah, all the great speakers, they've all practiced.
Yeah.
Only because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that they haven't practiced.
Did you find
They've
that
practiced.
Did you find that it's difficult to actually, for example, to like, I'm sure on your website and stuff, you couldn't actually put testimonials from a lot of the people that you have helped,
Yeah.
because it's like they don't want people to know that
That's
I had a
true.
guy who came and helped me. So then it kind of puts you in that position where you kind of want to say, oh, by the way, I did that speech, or I helped with that, and I
No,
helped
I'm
with
not
that.
like
No?
that. No, it suits my personality fine. But yeah, part of the thing that I have, and perhaps one of the reasons I'm known not on social media, but in the right circles
Yeah.
as the go-to guy.
Yeah.
For that reason, and it suits my personality. I'm
Yeah.
okay, like the King's Speech,
Yeah,
being
from
the
being
guy
behind, yeah.
behind the scene. I don't need the credit. For me, the joy is when I see the difference in the clients, like when they're out there, or if I'm shadowing them and it's good fun. Like, I mean, just thinking about it now, I'm all excited, right? That for me is enough. Like, I don't need to show it to the world. I don't have to like show off a name, say, hey, you know, I won your business because I did ABC or I did XYZ. That's fine. If you're giving me a call, you've heard of someone I've worked with. Right? They've sent you a WhatsApp message or sent you,
check out this guy, or this guy helped me with this stuff, which is kind of something that I wanted to kind of talk about as well, is because I was having a conversation with my wife, and I have two ways of thinking of things. So my two ways of thinking of things is motivational speaking and helping people and all that. Yeah, it's great. But I kind of also have this weird kind of part of me that's like, if you want to do good and you want to help people and you want to change lives, then you shouldn't charge for it. Bear with me now. Like, in a sense where, okay, you still need to charge these corporate companies and all that stuff. But then I see a lot of motivational speakers who want to help people, but you have to pay this and sign up for this and do that. But they're billionaires, you know? And I'm like, if I'm in India and I'm traveling, trying to search for a guru who's going to teach me the meaning of life and stuff, if I start meeting people who are like, okay, it's going to cost you this much and it's going to cost you that much, then I'm going to feel like this person isn't as spiritual as I thought, and he's not doing it purely for the sense of helping. Do you know what I mean? Of giving that gift back to people. I obviously understand people need to make a living. Yeah. But on one point, there's people who have made a living for 10 lifetimes and they're still trying to kind of work that money machine.
There are layers to what you're saying. There are layers and there are different categories. And I mean, I do motivational speaking as a business, right? So what you're talking about is spirituality and finding yourself. I mean, that's not even my lane. But I understand that if that is your lane and why you're doing it for. I'm doing it as a business. I don't do life coaching because I don't have the patience for it. Yeah. Right?
Like just figure it out.
I tried it a couple of times. This was in my earlier days, and they started crying. And I'm like, okay, it's not going to work. Our personalities.
I didn't bring tissues, and I'm not going to hug you right now. I'm just trying to help you.
Because I'm a straight up kind of guy. If something's not working, I'll tell you why it's not working, and this is what you need to do.
Yeah. See, I'm the same in so many ways and my wife argues with me about this so much because I've always felt since I was young.
I'm not going to pick sides. He's trying to get me in a hole.
Since I was young, he's going to blatantly take my side now because he's going to see the reality of it, and he's exactly the same as I am, so he's going to be able to relate. So since I was young, I always had a firm grip of who I was, in a sense. Anything I've done in life, I was one of these people who would pick it up like that. You know, if it was a sport, I'd do it for 3 months, I'd be the best. If it was a language, I'd learn it like this. And what happens is when you're very talented in these kind of ways.
So you're a natural, or you worked hard to become good quick?
I'm a natural, worked hard without it seeming hard. Does that make any sense?
You make it look effortless.
Right.
The kind of people we hate.
Right. And this is the thing that she says to me. She's like, babe, but not everyone is like that.
True.
So I think what happens with people like me is I never ended up sticking to one thing because I found it so easy. I was like, okay, I'm good at this now. I need to do something else. Okay, I'm good at this now. I need to do something else.
You get bored.
Yeah. And she's like, but not everyone is like that. Not everyone is, you know, you have to remember that people, and when I say to people like, why are you not doing this right? It's like so simple. They're like, but it's not. Do you know what I mean? So I think people have to be careful, like, because I just don't understand. Has it always been like this in life? Have we always had people who are helping? Have we always needed so much motivation? Because I feel like in the last, 15, 20 years, we've become so much more needy from other people as opposed to from within, sorting out your problems and figuring things out for yourself. It seems like we always want someone else to give us the answer now. Do you find that the case or not?
Me as a person?
Yeah.
I don't know about neediness, but I believe that it's good. I'm just thinking it through. Because I listen to a lot of podcasts of like very few people that I like. Do they make my life better? Yeah, they do.
But are you listening to them
purely because I don't want to listen to news and negativity?
Right.
And I don't want to listen to rubbish.
But when you're listening to them, are you not listening to them because you like what they're saying as opposed to they're saying something that you don't already know, or
most of the time they're saying things in perhaps thoughts or ways that I haven't formulated, and I go, hey,
Okay.
that's good. Maybe I do share this thought with them,
yeah.
but it's an interesting way that they're formulating it.
Okay, that's so interesting.
But it's not, I don't know if it's a need or not. Maybe it is a need, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because the other thing is, in terms of our thoughts, most of our thoughts is negative.
Yeah.
If you leave our thoughts
it's
without a
about
leash,
themselves,
you need to be conscious of this
be aware
because
of it.
of our surrounding and because of just how we're wired. I don't know the exact science of it, but 50, 60,000 thoughts a day, the majority of it is
negative.
negative. Yeah. So if you are in neutral, you're in negative.
Yeah.
So you have to actually put a leash into your thoughts. So my choice is I don't go out very much. I don't hang out. I'm either with clients working, or I'm very specific that I like to just be in my own zone and I choose who I listen to, which is also another reason why I'm not on social media and I don't really care about
what's happening in people's opinions and all this stuff.
None of it. I just don't care. And that I've kind of refined and fine-tuned over life so that it's just me and I'm authentic to myself, and it kind of works in with what I do as a profession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that makes so much sense. But I don't know.
But see, we're very different. I had a false assumption that I was talented growing up.
Yeah.
Then the wisdom I've gained over the last few years, I am not talented at all. Anything I've been able to achieve has just been because I'm like a dog on a bone.
Yeah.
And I just stick with it.
But so you were never like
stick with
into sports and instruments and all these things where...
I don't play an instrument.
See, this is...
Though I admire folks who play instruments, I admire them, I just can't play them.
Yeah, see, I don't know what it is.
Like I get to good really quick.
Yeah.
And then, because the thing is,
there's a difference between good.
There's a huge difference between good and great.
Yeah.
So as a motivational speaker, and also a public speaking coach, I've been doing this for over like 2 decades now. I know I look good. Thank you.
Really? You've been doing it since you were 5?
Thank you. Good. But it's only in the last 5 or 6 years where I've given myself like a pat on the back.
Yeah.
It was just constantly going in there, doing it. And I remember my mum, and she still does it, but I remember she'd just constantly ask, hey, how was your talk? Or how was yesterday? You had 3 talks yesterday, or you were between 2 countries yesterday. How was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, great, all good. Were you happy? No.
Yeah.
And then after some time, she goes, I would reply to her saying, no, it was terrible.
Yeah.
After some time, she goes, if you're so terrible, why are they paying you?
Exactly.
I'm like, no, Mum, it's not. It was great. I got a standing ovation. Every single one. They loved it. The client said this was great. The people said it was great. I did book signing.
Yeah.
I can tell you about all of that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it's different.
Yeah.
Right? I see it as I see it as a 6. In my mind, there is a 10. I could see a 10, which didn't materialize. That took 15 years for me.
Yeah.
I'm slow.
Yeah.
And it took that for me to be able to go, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
But then because I'm such a critic to myself,
I mean,
I'm not affected by other people because I'm like, buddy, you can't beat me at being critical. I am so good at critiquing myself. There's nothing you can do. And anything you say, I've already said to myself.
Yeah. It's so true. It's the same thing with like, when I was into the training, there was a period in my training where I was so into being super shredded and looking so good. And then people would be like,
he looked hot. And I'm straight.
He'd be like, man, you look so good. And I'd be like, no, I need like 3-4 more weeks. And it came to a point where one of my friends said to me, like, do you realize that you're saying I have so much more to do in that? But there are people who try so hard just to get into the shape that you don't think is good enough. But it comes back to that same thing where I remember when I was more shredded than this. So I know where my
peak
next step up is from there. So they're not going to understand it when I'm saying it.
Yes.
And they're just going to think I'm being a dick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where it's not.
Yeah, it cuts both ways as well because there is the element of, are you appreciating where you are?
Exactly.
Right? So that's something, again, with age and with wisdom, I like to think that when I look back, I could have been nicer to myself.
Yeah.
There was no reason to like kick myself in the teeth and go, that was terrible.
But
it wasn't
you find
terrible.
that
There was just room for
kind of
improvement.
helped you with the grind to get where you are. So in a sense, you kind of need to. It's like with, these athletes and gymnasts and everyone, like 90% of them will tell you their coach was horrible to them or their parents were horrible to them.
Yeah.
But then if they weren't, would you be the number one this or this in the world right now? So it's kind of like a happy balance. You're going to have to play with both,
Yeah.
you know?
Now I've just gone to accepting, hey, if what you're going to do is not going to be great,
Yeah.
just remember it's progress.
Yeah.
And that's just a nicer approach
Of course,
to myself, at least.
Anything
Yeah.
productive that you do is a step in the right direction,
Yeah.
isn't it? Every day,
100.
because there's a lot of people that are just, you know, human doings as opposed to human beings.
Yeah, yeah,
you
that's
know?
a good one.
They're just like, just on the escalator going the same thing every day. There's no change in their thought patterns. There's no, you know, nothing different that's going to make them think differently in the day or whatever. And this is what I was talking about with the whole awareness thing of, I just feel like,
When did you become self-aware?
I think when I was very young. I've always been hanging. I was talking about this last time. I've always had a lot older friends.
Okay.
So I was always into the martial arts when I was younger. I was always into sport, very, very heavily into sports and stuff. So I always had these
Older
sayings,
figures.
older figures with, you know, quotes that kind of had to make you think and that kind of thing, where it kind of made me aware more of
Right.
what was going on. And I also had, you know, friends of mine that were older that I used to play chess with and stuff when I was younger. And,
Okay.
and they were like, you know, like one of them was like a 55-year-old American, you know.
And you were how old?
And I was about 15.
Interesting.
And he was one of those kind of like no holds barred, tell it how it is kind of things.
So
Like,
you soaked a lot at a young
so
age.
Just because you're a kid, it doesn't mean I'm going to sugarcoat anything for you. This is this, this, and this. So I always was able to kind of be like, oh, okay, this is kind of how it is. And I'd always like to sit down. I was saying to Pega in the last one that when people used to come over, or whenever I used to be around my brother's friends, instead of the kid that would want to go around and do their own thing and play a computer, I'd kind of like to listen to their conversations, kind of act like them, kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm big. I can have this conversation with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just to kind of prove that I was, no, I'm on your level, where I wasn't, but I was soaking in as much as I could from this kind of other world, which was the adults.
That's really good.
Do you know what I mean? So.
And how is it that you didn't get bored of that? Because it sounds like you were getting bored of things that you became good at.
Because that was always changing.
Okay.
It was, the conversations were always changing. The people were always changing.
Yeah, they kept you engaged.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where with, you know, with playing an instrument or something, it was like, oh, I really want to play the guitar. When I was younger, I want to play the guitar, so when girls come, I can play a song and seem cool, and girls like guitar. And then after I learned, dude, you're so good. Like, it's.
I could actually. No, it's true. I shouldn't say that. Yeah. I could do it. I'm just clearly not into it. Otherwise, I'd be doing it. It's as simple as that.
But this is the thing. You say you're not into it, and until you learn the chords of No Woman No Cry, and then you play it once, and it sounds like No Woman No Cry,
and then that gets you.
And then it gets you, and you're like,
there is a way for everything.
Well, what about, you know, this song, or what about that song, or you just need somebody who you're interested in to like it. Like, you know how many people achieve things because the girl they like is into that thing, or somebody they look up to is into that thing.
Yeah.
So from the attention that they now get from they start doing it, and before they realize it, that's who they are now.
Again, because it's true to my personality of not caring.
Exactly.
I just do what feels right for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if, for example, you would use an instrument in your work.
Yeah.
Where you were trying to break down melodies to people,
mate, then I'll learn it.
Then you'd learn it. If you could use a guitar to be like, try and speak in this kind of tone.
I would.
And then you would.
100%. Well said.
Everything in life is kind of like out of necessity. So what is going to benefit you and what is going to make you better?
What you gravitate to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there are plenty of things in life. Essentially, I think the best way to be in life is to kind of think like a child.
Yes. Curious.
And which is why I'm so childish all the time. Because when you see children, they are human beings of how they're supposed to be. So if you see like a child will never play basketball in their life, shoot 2 hoops, and for the next 15 years, they're a basketball player.
Yeah, so you just got to expose them.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with yourself, you have to be like a child in the sense of where anything that's thrown your way, it should be exciting to you because you haven't learnt it yet. If you see, even when I see with my sons, if I bring anything new into the house, they immediately run to it because it's new to them. They haven't seen it. They don't know
They're
a guitar
curious,
is. They
right?
don't know what
Yeah.
a piano is.
Yeah.
Like first it's a new box in the room, but then they accidentally lean on it and then the box starts making noise. And then, but they lean on the other side and then that part of the box is making a different noise to this
This
kind
is
of one.
interesting.
Do you know what I mean? So I think that's how I look at life, where it's kind of, I'm not a no person. Like I'm always, I mean, I'm not a yes man, but I will always want to just give it a go and see. And sometimes things, they attach themselves to you before you even make a decision if you're going to like it or not. Before you know it, they've attached themselves to you, and that's it. Which is why I was talking about, like, you know how there's, okay, we live on the world, but in this world there are billions of other worlds. So
now you're getting deep on me.
But for example,
yeah,
I don't know if you know any friends that are dancers and are really into dancers.
I dance.
Dancing. There you go.
Yeah.
So
I shouldn't say I dance because it's
salsa.
Urban kids.
Okay, urban kids.
Not sure why I had to think about it, but
now
when
that
I compare
world,
it to other dancers, it's not really much dancing.
But now that world has a whole world in it.
That's true.
Websites, music, different types of music, different clothing.
We do have many worlds.
Different groups.
100%.
Different little cliques.
The psyche
inside.
is different.
You have different cliques in that world that don't like each other because they don't like the way they act in certain dance places. And then you've got people who are into guns. And there's like this whole gun club, and they only hang around with people who do that. Like there's little bubbles inside this big bubble.
The 4-wheel drivers,
right? Yeah. Exactly. That you know that they're so consumed by it that it just becomes their life. Like even when I was doing capoeira, when I first started doing capoeira, my friend and my best friend Shane and I, we went to a class and we loved it. So within 2 weeks, we were like the best in the class. And we literally had people in the class telling us, why don't you just admit that you've been doing this for ages instead of pretending?
Stop coming to the beginners class and acting like
you kind of thing.
So annoying.
But while I was doing that, for the 3-4 years I was doing it, that was my world. I would go to classes every day. But you were doing street hodders every day.
You were going beyond the class though. Were you doing more?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
It became the world. The only things we'd watch on YouTube would be capoeira. The music we'd be listening to would just be capoeira songs. There's an instrument called a berimbau, which is like a giant stick with a hollowed out coconut, and you hit it with it's got a string on it. So we'd walk in the streets with that on our shoulder. So we were capoeiristas for that time.
Okay.
That
total
was the
immersion.
Thing. Yeah, total immersion, which is why I'm saying is there's so many different immersive platforms in the earth that is on.
True.
That before you know it, you're a part of something. Like before I went to that class, I didn't think that was going to be my character.
Have you ever tried things and it wasn't you and you knew it?
Yeah, I have. But at the same time, I still appreciated and enjoyed the trying of it.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What about yourself? I mean, what have you done that you found yourself that you thought maybe this is not the kind of thing that I'd be into? Or like with the dancing, have you always been into dancing?
Not at all, man. Yeah, I remember when you said salsa, it reminded me of university where a friend of mine, she said, let's go dancing salsa. Yeah. I'm like, okay, let's go dancing salsa. This is purely my opinion. It is not the truth. Just put the disclaimer in for what I'm about to say. This is Auckland University. Okay. And she goes, let's go salsa. I'm like, okay, let's go try it out. Young, curious. Plus, it's a girl asking you, so you say yes.
Straight away, yeah.
I go to class, and I think whether it was the first one or definitely by the second one, I'm like, I'm not doing this. Yeah. I'm not doing this, even though I like it, because I didn't like the context. Where most guys, it was obvious they were there hunting for women. Yeah. And I'm like, this is like I said, this was just the thought of a 18 or 19-year-old. Probably still the same thoughts. I'm better than this. I'm not going to use dancing as an excuse to get with a girl.
Apart from that one girl who took you there.
She was just a mate. I was just, I was just more of being nice. And it is a girl, so you're always just nicer.
Exactly. Yeah.
If it was you, I'd be like, bugger off. I'm going to go to a coffee shop. In my mind, I was like, because I've had a good level of confidence, especially when it came to, say, just speaking to anyone. Girl or guy, growing up in New Zealand, I've had that good fortune of treating everyone equally, right? And so it wasn't that confidence of I can speak to a girl. I just saw a girl just as a guy. Same, I mean, to this very day, I've got a lot of girlfriends, and I refer to them as mates. I'd be like, "Hey, mate," and they're like, "We're not your mate."
I
I'm
get
like,
that a lot when I'm like, I message them. I'm like, "Dude," and they're like, "Stop calling me dude."
I'm like, in my mind, you're a mate. So get over it. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So back to that story. By the second class, I think it was, I'm like, hey, most of the guys here are trying to pick up women. This is beneath me, because if I like someone, I'll just go up to them and say
straight
what's up?
Yeah,
hey, how you doing? You're gorgeous. Would you like to go out for a coffee?
But a lot of people don't have that, though.
They don't have that. And so they're using, in my mind at least then, that, or maybe that was an excuse. This
just
can
to
be
not wear the
peeled in
tight
many
pants.
ways. I don't want to use dancing as an excuse. And this looked like a whole environment where women were just doing it for whatever they were doing it for, but the guys, because I could just see them and I could feel the vibe. I'm like, everyone here, just about everyone, is here to pick up. I'm like, I don't need to do it for the pickup. I don't want to have that kind of association. So I stayed away from dancing for like a decade. I shortchanged myself, because it's nice, and I shouldn't have had those thoughts. I should have just focused.
So you dipped in the pond, but didn't jump into it. You didn't immerse.
Yeah, and then a few years ago, I got into urban kids.
Yeah.
I started listening to the music. Again, another friend said, you should come. I'm like, okay, let's go try it out. This time I'm like, I like this music.
Yeah.
And then I was also clear, if I'm going to start it, I've always had this. I'm going to become damn good at it. 14 months of classes. You know, I've had friends who would go in after 2 or 3 months and they just start kicking, and I'm like, I don't want to kick. You look like you're having a spasm or something.
Exactly.
I don't want to dance like this. There's no smoothness in what you do. I don't want to be good. I want to be great. I want to be in that category of great. And I'm willing to put in the yards when I make the decision. And so this time I was like, this is good. I like this. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I literally stopped spending money everywhere else. And I created a small fund. It did become, it is my world still. You know, that this is my little piggy bank for my travel, for the festivals, for what I need to do, for the cost, because it's all going to be out of my pocket. I'm going to go do it to a point where then I could go, you're good at what you're doing. I mean, still, it's very difficult for me to see it dancing, because when I see some of these hip hop dancers or some 9-year-old kids dancing, I'm like, that's dancing. But what I'm doing is I'm just being a stick moving around.
But you think that.
It's my meditation.
Because of yourself.
Yeah.
But this is the thing about one thing
full of paradoxes.
One thing, exactly. But one thing I learned from my capoeira teacher, amazing guy, which is so true in life with so many things. So, do you know what capoeira is? So the Brazilian martial arts mixed with acrobatics and dance together. So he always taught me that capoeira is a game of questions and answers.
Nice.
Okay. So if I'm doing a kick over your head, I'm asking you a question.
That's a question. I thought that was an answer.
Now, if you don't move into the right place,
question, I'll give it to you.
If you don't move into an open space, then you're giving me the wrong answer, and you're going to get hit in the head.
Ooh, that's good.
So if I give you this kick, your answer would be to come this way.
Nice.
And that's the same for so many aspects in life.
Yes.
Like, everything's a game of questions and answers, because if you don't do something, you're not going to receive something back from it.
Yeah.
So
that's
it's
really
the same
good.
with all that stuff, with anything you do, you know? And I find that really, I like that kind of metaphorical, spiritual kind of sense of it that it had, which is the same for everything. Boxing, I'm going to throw a jab at you. If you stay there, wrong answer. If you shimmy to the left, good answer.
Yeah.
And now that you've given me the right answer, you can ask me a question, which would be a hook. And am I going to answer that correctly or not? If I don't give you the right answer for your hook, I'm getting knocked out.
Yeah, it's really good.
If I then move out the way and uppercut, I've answered your question, and I've answered it and given you a quick question again. So it's the same kind of give and take, yin and yang kind of flow thing. That is like one of the beautiful things in life. So I've always been like that from young. I've always felt like if I saw a friend do a backflip, I would try and backflip right there.
Okay.
My way of growing up was if I see another person do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
I might fall 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but when I come back the next day, I'm going to show you that I can do it.
Yes.
And I've always been like that.
You've been like challenge mentality, right?
Yeah, always, always since I've been young.
Are you challenging me? I don't even know you, man. But okay.
You flipped. It's obvious. I can see what's going on here. Yeah, so I've always like that.
Challenge.
And the thing that I have to be careful about, and I've started to be careful of, is that not everyone is like that.
Yeah.
And I always thought, because I found it so easy, I thought everyone's like that. So I would think people are being lazy, or I would think people are just not trying, or I would think you're not taking this seriously.
It's
Where
true.
some people
It's a
really
different
would. So you
mentality,
have to be
man.
aware that
Yeah.
other people, some people don't pick up, but then they can do something that you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah. You also have to appreciate the mentality and pace. We're all different.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It doesn't make anyone better or worse, but we're
Exactly.
just different.
Yeah.
And I guess, this is also over time. You just come to realize we're really different. Even if
Right.
we're related, we're different.
But at the same time, so the same
Yeah.
when it comes to
In many aspects, yeah.
inside, how the things we think about, the things that we worry about, the things that we
Just fears or
everyone is going through the same
uncertainties.
thing as everyone else. They might be going through it in different times or in different ways, but it all stems off the same thing. Like we're no different when it comes to like, no matter what happens, like I was talking about before, like even if you're the richest man in the world and you have everything you ever wanted, death is going to take your daughter. Death is going to take your wife. Death is going to take you. Do you know what I mean? So you still share that commonality with it, no matter how you try to escape it, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone shares these base commonalities of if someone shouts at you or you're going to feel bad, which is why I'm so interested in what you do, because I don't think people understand the power of speech and how powerful words are.
Yeah.
Not to get too deep into it, but back in the day, I mean, I think witches were really connected. Their whole thing was connected with the essence and vibrations of words. And for example, you know, when we're young, you get sent to a school. Okay. Now, where witches learn how to do witchcraft, they call it a shul. Okay. You ever wondered why school is spelled SCHOOL?
Interesting.
Okay. Now, what's the first thing that you learn when you go to school?
The ABC?
Right. So you learn.
I think so. I'm not sure. Is it
learn,
the ABC?
Yeah.
Correct answer, Kev. Good job.
Exactly.
Good job.
And then you're learning what? You're learning how to spell.
Okay.
What do witches do? They cast spells.
Look at you playing with words.
There you
Look
go.
at you.
So they put words together and letters together to make spells. Now, if you left your house in the morning and I saw you in the lift and I was like, dude, you need to shave your beard, and you're going to a meeting dressed like that. Now, whether you had shaved your beard and looked good, I had just cast a verbal spell on you to make you would have, all of a sudden you would have been like, do I need to shave my beard?
Yeah.
It kind of brought you down again.
Yeah.
Which is the same if I would cast, for example, a love spell on you. I saw you today, man, you look good, man. You've been working out, everything. You look good. Dude, I need that t-shirt because that is a banging t-shirt. All of a sudden, internally, you'd be...
Absolutely.
It is a nice t-shirt. I have been working out. Even if you haven't, you'd be like, yeah, I've done a couple of press-ups.
That's right, yeah.
You know?
In my dreams, I was doing it. How did you know I had
words are
a
so
hard-out
important,
workout?
right?
It is. Man, don't say it, or if you're going to say something, make sure it's positive.
It's so basic, right?
'Cause
The
it
whole, if
makes
you're not
a
going to say
huge
anything
difference.
nice, don't say anything at
Yeah.
all. We kind of take that for granted and not understand the power behind it.
It's true. You got to be conscious. We live in a world, man. You need to be conscious because there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of stress. Right? Yeah, there's a lot of noise, a lot of stress. Just a whole heap of things. And you got to be conscious about what you take in, but also what you put out. We don't realize, I mean, this is coming from a guy who's known to be a dick. I don't mean to offend anyone or bits and pieces, so I keep my distance from people. And if I don't have anything good to say, then I just won't say it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's important, man. The power of a compliment.
It makes such a difference, right?
It makes you feel good too.
Yeah. Right.
So it's not just the fact that you've made someone's day or week.
Yeah.
It also makes you.
Yeah. And also will kind of lead you on the rest of your day, kind of sharing again, kind of thing, because you saw that they appreciated it, which made you appreciate saying it.
Yeah, it's true.
Therefore, why should I not say it again to someone else?
It's true. Yeah.
You know?
You've got an 18-year-old, right?
Yeah. And he's taller than me.
It's buzzy because, I asked you, I think, for the age yesterday on WhatsApp. What would be a lesson that you'd want him to have, or maybe you've taught him already, to serve him well in life?
I think...
If you only one.
Be a chameleon.
Okay.
Be able to adapt to any situation that you're put in.
Easy to say.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
How to do?
No, hard to do.
Hard to do.
And how to do.
But I think I've always taught him
Let's get some gems.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've always taught him about awareness.
Okay.
I
How?
think to be always to be aware of not just his actions but other people's actions.
Yeah.
And I'm very, this could be a bad thing, but I'll step into a room and walk back out, and I could tell you where the windows are, where the exits are, where
Photographic
everything,
memory.
in a sense where I like to know what's going on around me. And a lot of us, we have that, even that sixth sense where someone's standing behind you, right? Sometimes you're like, feel a weird thing in the back, you turn around, there's a guy just looking at you like that with cross eyes. Do you know what I mean?
Make sure that is in the footage. It's gold.
Yeah,
it's gold.
Right? But I think I've always taught him to be empathetic and aware. I'm a big Benga, could you please put that camera on you, because that hat is amazing, and I want people to see they're missing out on this. Benga is wearing the best hat right now. So I think it's important to also know you can learn from your children, because the amount of things that I've learned from him, and even from my 3-year-olds, I've been like, you just taught me something there that I didn't even think of, or did I forget?
Yeah.
By certain actions.
But it's having that receptive mind, right? You need to be receptive to the reminders. So even if you know it, your 3-year-old reminds you.
Exactly.
Like, oh, wow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Look at me crying about not being able to do something. Exactly. Whereas my kid just fell, cried, and dusted it off like it's no problems. And just back to giggling.
And that's what I think it is in life. You always have to be able to be willing to learn. I remember a good point you were making, that,
but it requires you to be you have to be. This is consciousness. You got to be conscious about being open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was teaching my son some Wing Chun before.
What's that?
Wing Chun is Chinese martial arts, which was developed with the center line of the body.
Okay.
And we just
sounds like yummy food.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm going to say sticky hands now, which also sounds like you've been making yummy food. So we were just doing something, and obviously I know more than him, so I'm putting him in these locks, and I put him in these locks. And then he just did something that I'd never seen before, and got out of it in a way and put me in something. And I was like, huh.
Obviously I don't.
Yeah, I was like, huh. I never thought of it that way before.
Yeah.
But where he's in this whole, kind of fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
He figured out something that he hasn't been taught, but learned how to put me in a position by just being flowy and moving around. And I was just like, huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me let go of that ego when I'm sticking his hands in places, and appreciate that I can also learn from him and that kind of stuff, which is cool.
A lot of people have experiences. I mean, you can't go through a day without having experiences. So we all have experiences. We all have interactions. But yet at the end of the day, you've got two kinds of people.
Someone who applies them and somebody...
Yeah, someone who's been open to it, who's taking it in, who's thinking about it, who's actually going to make changes, and then someone who isn't. And unfortunately, the person who isn't, that's the majority. Yeah. And we keep on doing the same things over and over again. The answers are right there, man. The other day, I was just walking up to the mirror, as I do at my place. Took my t-shirt off. Yeah. Not a good sight.
Sent me a picture. It was lovely.
And then I was complaining about it. And I caught myself, and I have a lot of self-talk. I had a lot of self-talk. I'm like, Kev, the routine you have of actually coming up to the mirror, taking your t-shirt off, looking at yourself, it's a routine.
Yeah.
And then saying something...
Everyone does it, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And saying something negative, like you should go and work out. Yeah. If you put this habit and change it into 5 minutes or more push-ups...
Yeah, exactly.
You won't have to have this conversation, buddy.
Yeah. It's insane how all the answers are there.
It's right there, man. It's all right there.
And I believe that whole kind of... I mean, my way of looking at things is that, a piece of God and everything is in your conscience. Because your conscience is this thing that nobody can really explain.
Yes.
And it will never lie to you. So you can lie to everyone else.
You can't lie to yourself.
Why am I not making money? Why didn't I make money today? Why didn't I make that sale?
Because cool kicks, man.
Thank you.
Sorry for interrupting.
Nice.
It was actually really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I better say it before I forget. It actually looks really cool.
They're going to be on there. Adidas is a very, very nice, friendly hookup.
Okay. Hey.
Don't worry. You'll get your kicks.
ADIDAS?
That's right. All day I dream about success.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. I totally forgot what I
We
was saying now.
digress. I apologize.
What were we saying?
Went from a compliment to doing a sponsor ad.
I think we did a flip in the middle of it, right? As well.
Consciousness.
Yeah. So if you're like, why didn't I do this? You're straight away within a millisecond, your brain would be like,
You know the answer.
because you stayed home longer than you should have.
Yeah.
And you
lazy
wasted time doing it.
fuck.
Yeah. Do you know? No matter what you kind of try to lie to yourself,
Yeah.
there's always that
You
part of
can't,
yourself
yeah.
that won't accept it, and it will, you laugh at you, and you'll be like, all right, fair enough, you're right.
Mm.
Which is strange, right?
Yeah. What's your thought on happiness? Because you always seem cheerful. Are you always cheerful? Do you put it
Always.
on?
No, I'm
Do you have
always
down
cheerful.
days?
I have down moments, not days,
Nice one.
because I'm always, again, aware. I become aware of these moments, and I'm like, okay, I need to do something now that's gonna either progress me out of this moment, or something that's gonna take this off my mind, or fix it. So I think, again, I'm a very empathetic person, and I'm very kind of, I don't know if you'd say spiritual or whatever, but I have so much love in me,
Mm.
and I literally love everyone. Now, that love comes in different levels, and I could love somebody who is a killer.
Mhm.
I will still love them because
As a human being.
they're a part of this essentially insane thing that is happening called life, and I'm empathetic to if they might have gone through things to bring them where they are now.
Mm.
And I feel like if that time that you're spending with me, you can forget your troubles, even if it means I'm being a clown for a bit, or I'm trying to cheer you up, whatever,
Yeah.
that's good enough for me to be that guy.
Mm.
I'm fine to take on that
role.
that role,
Yeah.
because a smile can change the world.
Huge. Huge.
You smile at someone who's a
Mm.
stranger in the street, they'll smile back.
Mm.
They won't know why. They might then carry on and be like, why did I just smile at that dude? But the instinct of it,
Mm.
you lose nothing, you gain everything.
Yes.
That's like, even in a situation, I've been in situations before where, we've been outside a club and my friends are going to get into fights and blah, blah, blah. And I've gone to the guy.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, and I've just literally gone to the guy and I put my hand out like this.
Yeah.
Before even saying
It
anything.
diffuses everything.
And he'd shake my hand,
Yeah.
and then we talk. I'd still have his hand in my hand. But he didn't have a second to think about getting angry or whatever, because I'm just the guy that came to shake his hand.
In peace.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I come in peace. It's not. You can swing at me then.
Yeah.
Ask me a question if you want. I've got the answers. But it's like, my initial step would always be to embrace, or to, and my friends, they always like get weirded out by it, because guys, girls, whatever. Whenever I get off the phone, I say, "All right, I love you," and then I get off the phone.
Mm.
And I have some of my friends that are kind of like macho and stuff, and they're like,
No, it's really nice, man.
They're like,
it's
all right,
really nice.
this is weird.
Yeah.
Or if you just get
Really
to know
nice.
me, and I'm just like, all right, cool, love you, I'll see you later.
Yeah.
But my friends who know me, I think they're always like, oh yeah, I love you too, kind of thing. Whether it's guys or whatever, because they know it's not like, I'm not trying to be funny or whatever.
Yeah, it's a human.
It's
thing,
just, I just want to say that before I leave the conversation.
Yes. It's really nice. I'll think about whether I want to implement this or not. It's actually really
I want
good.
us to hug and tell each other we love each other before we leave today.
Yeah. I do that. I'm good with that.
dude,
Yeah.
But this is the
I
thing.
hug my clients. At the beginning, they're weirded out.
Right?
But after a while, they know a hug is coming.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Why do
A hug is always coming.
I mean, not just men, but why do two men find it so hard to hug, do you think?
I don't have the answer for you. Because
Do you not find that strange?
no, only because I've always done it.
Yeah. Could you?
And I just
I mean,
grew up.
if I had two of my friends,
Yeah.
and then I hugged one goodbye, and then my friend that was with me saw me doing that, so he hugged the guy goodbye. If I got two men and I said, I just want you to hug for 30 seconds. Don't say anything.
Mm.
Just hug this stranger for 30 seconds. There'd be so many people who would be so reluctant to do that.
Trying to think about this. I'd find it uncomfortable, even though if I don't know the person.
Really?
If I don't know the person,
Why?
I don't know. I don't know them. I guess I feel like it's care, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But do you not
But
feel
then-
like
but then
after
you-
5-10 seconds,
You probably will
you'd
be more
sink into
familiar. You would.
Right?
But like anything, when it's new, right? There's that element of discomfort.
Right.
And then after a while, you go, oh, okay, I'm good with this.
Do you feel like we've always been like that, or do you feel like we've kind of strayed from our humanity and
I'm not sure,
empathy?
man. With social media, unfortunately, we seem to be connected, but
But not, right?
not really. I don't think people realize, we're not as connected
as we like to pretend we are.
Yeah, that's the word, pretending. I guess we're pretending to be connected. Really? I don't know. I don't think so.
Here's a question for you: how are you with phone conversations?
Never been good.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not like, it needs to be work.
Right. So
if it's not work, that's it.
This gets to me so much. So I'd
you
like
seem
to
like
call a friend
and just
talk to them,
Okay.
even for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Have a conversation.
Yeah.
And that means to me more than 15 days of WhatsApp messages.
I can do it, but I'll be the person listening.
Yeah, but even still, do you see that? Like,
I don't have too many friends.
So many, yeah, but me too. I have a very closed. If you can count your friends on more than one hand, then you're doing something wrong, and you'd find that a lot of them are acquaintances and they're not your friends.
Yeah.
But I always call my friend. I'm just like, let's just have one conversation for 10 minutes instead of a 5-hour WhatsApp chat. Like, we don't need to drag all this on.
Yeah.
Like, I like having a laugh with and hearing their voice and, making some jokes and this and that. And that's it, this conversation. I don't need to speak to you for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have a conversation spread out over 8 hours.
Okay.
It's cool if we're messaging, oh, did you see this, by the way? Yeah, it's cool, whatever.
I don't consider WhatsApp as social media.
No,
but I do a lot. I do a lot of WhatsApping. I guess it comes down to the person, right? Because we're all different. So you like a phone call.
Yeah.
So if I was to have a conversation with you, then obviously I need to be aware that you're more a phone call kind of person.
Yeah.
But there are some people who prefer WhatsApp.
Yeah, I get it.
I prefer WhatsApp.
Okay, so would you prefer...
Or I don't mind, like, if we're having a conversation, I'll just be listening. I'm a good listener.
So if I haven't spoken to you in like a week.
Okay.
And I called you. Hey, how you doing?
What's I only pick up my phone if I can. Like, not because it rings.
Yeah. Elaborate on that.
So, sometimes it'll be like 20 missed calls.
Okay. But you see them going and you leave them.
No, if I'm not by my phone, I'm just not by my phone.
But I'm saying, like, for me, if I get such a feeling inside that when my phone rings and it's a friend and they just call to have a chat, and then when I get off that phone, it means so much to me.
But do you know that? Was it an expected phone call that they want to have a chat?
No.
Okay.
I was like, that was really thoughtful.
Yeah.
They wanted to talk to me. They wanted to feel my vibe.
The feeling is nice, 100.
They wanted to feel my vibe.
Yeah.
Sometimes, how many people probably broke up on WhatsApp because they're saying something, but in WhatsApp, you can't tell the tone of somebody, of how they're trying to say something, or what they're trying to get across. Like, it's not very, typical example. So a friend of mine yesterday, I was feeling down because of this whole, work and everything. So I sent her a message and I was like, dude, can you talk? Need a shoulder to cry on. And then
it's great how you're so conscious and you just say how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she messaged me back, hey dude, I'm a mess. Can't do that right now. Thanks for asking. And I was like, what do you mean? I called you because I needed a shoulder to cry on. So apparently she had gone through something at exactly the same time.
Yes.
And was sending me back the same thing. Like, she thought I was asking her because I know what happened to her.
Okay.
Do you need a shoulder to cry on?
Okay.
Where I was saying, I need a shoulder to cry on.
So then
I was like, well, what happened, kind of thing. And then we kind of went into it. But that just shows that with tone and text and whatever, you could be having a conversation with someone and not even know what's going on.
People face to face don't get each other most of the time. So imagine when the layers are taken away. Yeah.
So
nothing beats face to face.
And even planning. When, me and my wife were going cycling with another friend and his wife and all that. And I'm like trying to arrange the time. And I'm like, oh, what time are we going? She's like, I don't know. She hasn't replied. And then she'll reply. And then there'll be another question asked that won't get answered by either one of them in the next 20 minutes. And I'll be like, why don't you just call her and get this conversation sorted? Why are we going through waiting for somebody else to reply? And then by the time they reply, you're brushing your teeth. And then by the time, just pick up the phone and say, hey, dude, what time are we going cycling? Meet there? All right, cool. That took 3 seconds. But the WhatsApp chat took 2 hours.
Yes, true.
Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like communication has been shortened so much. Like, it's like all of these things, they're great. Yeah, social media is great. But it's kind of taking away that whole connection with people. It started to do that with friends and, with phones and stuff like that. Like, I'm sure, I know you're like 25, 26, but when I was younger, there wasn't any phones.
Yeah, when you were younger, yeah.
Right?
Man,
no, there was no mobiles, nothing like that. The phone had that thing on it. Remember, 9, 8.
When my auntie used to ask me to make a phone call, yeah.
And it used to be a wicked thing because you could go through the thing. But when I wanted to go see a friend, I had to go to his house. I'd have to knock on the door.
Yeah, it was different.
If he wasn't there,
yeah,
he's either gone to this guy's house or they're at the park in the place that we meet.
Yeah.
So it was an adventure. Do you know what I mean? Trying to meet up with your friends was with WhatsApp and social media. I don't even need to, hey, Kevin, I look on the story and I know your whole day. I know what you've done in the day. I know where you've been. I know who you've seen. I know what beach you went to. I know what you ate. And what's the point of even me calling you? You've got nothing to say to me. I know it all.
Yeah. I used to be on your side of the fence. And then just over time, I came to realize you have to just, I guess, appreciate different people and their different like modalities of how they want to express themselves and how they want to communicate, kind of like you with your phone or
But do you feel like that's how they are or that's how they've become? Because it's
the reality, like you were saying earlier with the worlds.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, sure. If it's easier, maybe that was one of the reasons. But you can't say that world doesn't exist because it's their world. So if their world is in the phone, it's their world. It's legit.
So you just have to accept that. And
before I would be like, that's not the real world. No, that is the real world for this person.
For that person, yeah.
Sometimes for me, that is the real world.
Yeah.
Right? For many now, Zoom is the real world.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Not mine. I'm okay. Again, it's a choice. Someone else makes a choice to be on Zoom. That's the real world for them. They want to connect. They want to get 100 people on there. I'm like, the only time I'm on Zoom with 100 or however many people that's going to be on there is if you're paying me and there is a reason for it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? Nullify that reality.
Yeah.
And so I guess, what you're saying is right, but that's just one aspect of it.
Interesting.
Someone else will say, no, I like the fact that I'm connected. Like, I like the fact that we have a WhatsApp group with the family.
Yeah.
I can see my nephews.
Yeah.
Sure, it would be great if they could be here and I see them for 5 minutes every day.
Yeah, exactly.
That is my limit, 5 minutes. But I don't feel like I miss them so much because I get to see them.
How old are your nephews?
6 and 2.
So would you rather have a WhatsApp conversation through text with your nephew who's 6? Or would you rather have a 5-minute call on the phone?
Like a video would be great, but getting them on video for 5 minutes is probably
But I mean, okay, so
unrealistic.
Mum, would you rather have a conversation
I have a video call with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you want to see her. You want to have a
That's true,
conversation with her.
Yeah.
Now, if you could have a choice, video call or phone call or WhatsApp, that's the only way you can communicate with your mum. Which one are you going to choose?
Video call.
And that's it. That's how it will stay forever.
If I can, yeah.
Right. Why was that a no-brainer for you?
Yeah.
Because
just the way I like it, yeah.
Because you like to see someone's expression when
Yes,
they say
true.
something funny.
Yeah.
You like to hear the tone in their voice if they're sad and they don't want to tell you
That's
about
right.
it.
Or just
you could then
their
say,
facial expressions.
then you could then say something bothering you.
Yeah, true.
And then maybe they'll open up to you.
Yeah.
But on WhatsApp, you can't see that through the text.
That's
if
true.
they don't want to tell you that they've been upset, that's something you might be able to help them with, or you can't see. It's not.
I feel it's not tangible.
Yeah, it's not tangible.
Yeah.
It's not, so that's my issue with it.
You're making me hungry, man.
Right? I am kind of hungry.
Do you do intermittent fasting?
I used to.
Okay.
I used to.
Yeah.
To the point that I was just like, I'll do bits and bobs whenever, but it has no meaning anymore.
No, okay.
Now that I'm old, and a lot of my life is just about my children now. And yes, I want to be a fit father because I think children should look up to their father as a superhero kind of thing, and you set a good example to them.
Well said.
But I don't need to be
cut
2%
sub 4%.
body fat,
Yeah,
like I was before. But like I always feel like there should be no difference between Captain America and their dad, kind of thing, or whoever they. Why are you, this whole dad bod thing that everyone's making cool? No, that you shouldn't have a belly and just let everything go. Why? What kind of standard are you setting for your son, or your daughter? But I want to talk about what made you get into motivational speaking and get into that. Was there a moment where you decided this is what I want to do, or was it something that people were like, you're kind of good at this, you should maybe think about? Where did it come from? The whole.
I was supposed to be a doctor, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's
The AC,
all right.
the AC, and the
torturing.
yeah, right.
Torturing me.
This is what I do in my podcast. What I don't tell people is I'm going to put you in here's some more water, very uncomfortable position, so I can try and get the real answers from you.
Drinking like a freaking camel. probably going to end up peeing like a camel too.
Exactly. That's why I've also converted that sofa into a toilet bowl.
Is it? Oh, short man struggle.
Right? Between both of us trying to reach for one thing that's only a meter away. So yeah, how did that come about?
Man, so I was supposed to, I grew up where my whole thing was, at least I was told, I had the blinkers on. You got to be a doctor. I only knew of 4 professions. This is a common
Doctor,
story, I'm
engineer.
sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're from the Middle East or the Asian subcontinent or the Indian subcontinent, that's kind of your
Doctor, engineer,
your
lawyer.
story.
Yeah.
You got it. What's the 4th one? Something.
4th one will be...
But that would be the 4 professions. And I remember saying this in a talk once. I was in Bahrain and I was doing a talk. And I told them, if you had paid me $1 million or dirhams, I wouldn't have been able to tell you of a 5th profession. It's really sad that I'm conscious now of that reality, that I was so limited in realizing like these were the 4 options. None of them I wanted to do or I gravitated to, but these were the only thing I was aware of because of my environment.
Yeah.
And the one that was being drummed into me was be a doctor. Doesn't make your parents bad or doesn't make your auntie a bad person. She wants the best for you. They're giving you that advice based on what they know to be true from 30 years ago. So they're doing their best. Can't put a blame on them. So I ended up doing science, like first year, you do well, you go as a pre-med thing, and then you can go into medicine. I guess at that point I started gaining a bit more consciousness of going, I just don't like it. I remember having an ex, and she was like, why are you even talking medicine when you don't like blood? Have you worked that out? Like, you can't stand a cut.
The sight of blood,
The sight of blood. I think there was something wrong with this picture. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Then there were a couple of other things. So I couldn't handle blood. Second thing that helped me with that realization of, I'm going to answer your question, but the second realization in terms of why I shouldn't become a doctor was I saw a few folks who were talking about, man, I can't wait to do my 7 years and then 4 years, then I can become a surgeon, make, 6-figure income. Back then, 6 figures was a lot. 6-figure income, drive a Porsche, have a nice house. And I'm thinking to myself, I like those things. Right? I'm upfront about it. I like money. I like those things. I want to be successful. I just came from a middle-class family. I want to have nice things. But when they were saying it, it gave me that being able to look at something from the outside. Like, when you're in the picture, you can't see the picture.
Exactly.
You need to be able to step back. And so that watching them have this conversation, this was all in the first week of uni. I'm going, 1 second, I don't think that we should be doing this if our intention is to make money.
Especially
There's nothing wrong with it.
Especially doctor,
your intention as a doctor has to be helping people. I was having this conversation with myself. Kev, the right thing for a doctor to do is the pure intention needs to be to help other people. And I know of great, doctors who are very, like their intention is helping people, super successful. But the success, the fame, the money was as a byproduct.
Exactly.
That wasn't the intention. And that was very important. And I came to that realization in that first week of doing a crappy health science degree. And the third was seeing one person out of 120 or 130 of us stick out as a sore thumb because we're all 18 or 19 and this guy is in his 30s. And I'm like, buddy, you stand out like a sore thumb, straight up. What are you doing here? And he shares a story about how he's a successful lawyer and he's doing really well, but he's not happy being a lawyer. He always wanted to be a doctor. So one Friday, which is, the end of the week in New Zealand, he closes shop. Imagine the sacrifice this guy has to make. It's easy to say, I'm gonna try something because I have nothing, so I'm gonna try something out. But to have something successful, to have that kind of investment behind you,
take a leap,
and to be willing to go, I'm not doing it. Literally shuts shop and goes back to becoming a student. I'm like, whoa, this guy is the real doctor. He deserves to be a doctor. Like,
of all of us, he's the only one that should be a doctor.
Right, and the other people, but this was a few things about the blood, about people talking about money, and I'm going, this isn't it. About this guy making the sacrifice and with a very clear intent, wanting to be a doctor. I'm like, okay, this is not you, Kev. I didn't know what it was, but I'm like, what is clear, this is not you. Man, I got into just giving advice. I have always just been... I listen and then I'd be like, but you can do this,
Yeah.
or you can try
You've
this.
always been able to give somebody a kick up the ass kind of thing, yeah.
And it's with no intention.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I see it. You're saying, oh, you've got a bottle.
Yeah.
You're half empty.
Yeah.
You're complaining that you're thirsty. Well, there's a cooler right there.
Yeah.
Go fill it up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's that simple.
Basic, yeah.
And over time, people started going, hey, your advice is good. Or I did what you said.
And this is the result of it. Yeah.
And I got some good results. And then I got into sales.
Yeah.
I became top salesperson. Whatever I was doing, I was knocking on doors. Didn't know what I was doing, but within a week or 2 weeks, I became the top salesperson of that branch.
Yeah, yeah.
They asked me, what are you doing? I don't know. Shrug of a shoulder was an answer.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Now that I look back at it, I just realized I was just being personable, being likable.
Yeah.
Right. One of the skills I teach individuals, like especially when they're like CEOs or world leaders, I'm like, as part of your public speaking,
You need
before
to
all of this, remember, before ability comes likability.
Yeah.
The only reason I was a great salesperson, not because of my skills, I was likable. And when people like you, they just go easy on you. Even if they're not going easy on you, they're hearing you.
I like that. Like comes before ability.
Before. Likability is before ability. All the time, man. Just think about it.
But even in the word likability, the like part comes first.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Once you figure that out, you realize this is a critical factor. And then I'll work on my ability. So I did know the sales script. I was selling door to door, selling alarms. I did know my script, but it wasn't on the strength of the script.
Exactly.
There was someone out there who could tell you the script word for word and wasn't selling.
Yeah.
I was selling by sitting in someone's home for 3 hours, having a cup of tea and coffee.
Yeah.
The sales was in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I wasn't even selling.
Yeah,
They'd be like, yeah, okay, what are you doing anyway? I'm like, yeah, well, I've got this alarm thing that I'm selling.
Yeah.
Well, I'm supposed to be going through this. I tell them I'm supposed to be going through this.
Yeah.
They'd be like, okay, I'll take one and then get one for my mum as well.
Yeah.
Because we became friends.
Yeah.
So it just kind of snowballed into, back then, this wasn't a profession. There were just the greats like Tony Robbins, still the greats, like Les Brown, Brian Tracy. These are all greats, even today are greats. Zig Ziglar, you know. But apart from that, it wasn't that much of a public profession like it is today. Like today, every idiot,
every influencer on
wants to be a motivational speaker. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. As long as you're willing to do what it takes, as long as you know what it takes. Because I get a lot of people coming up to me going, I want to be a motivational speaker. Excellent. Go and do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect me. I come from a
start
world
by
of,
motivating yourself.
I come from a world of abundance. It's cool. But do you realize, no, what they don't realize is the sacrifice you have to make.
Yeah.
It's taken me 15 years to be at a place where I can actually support myself to have this as a job.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do that? I'm not saying it's going to take you 15 years. It might take you 6 months. You might be amazing. But have you got the grit to hang in for 6 months?
Yeah.
What if it's not 6 months? If it's 6 years, have you got the grit to hang in for 6 years, no income?
And have you got the grit that it might not even happen as well?
Have you got the grit, and are you willing to do it even if it doesn't eventuate?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that. And it's not just motivational speaking, it's for many things. But like personal training, motivational speaking, yoga, I'm not picking on you guys. It's just, these are what they call low barrier to entry. It just means any idiot
can do it,
over a weekend can go and do it.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot as well, right? So I'm not calling anyone by name. So, but my point is that to be able to make it into, and social media even as an example, I'm not a big fan of, social media and social media influencing, but I give them respect. It's a lot of work. I'm trying to do one video and it takes me 3 days. I'm like, how do these guys do it? It's a lot of work. So whatever you choose to do, you have to be willing to do it. So back to getting into motivational speaking, people just said, hey, your advice is good. You should charge for it. I don't even know how it kind of worked out, but this was back again when it wasn't a popular profession. Yeah. And it just snowballed, man. And I just have this character. Once I pick my bone, I just stick with it. Yeah. Right. So I've gone through all kinds of terrible. I've done everything wrong. All kinds of mistakes. I've done it all. Now, I don't think there's a mistake that I haven't made. Yeah. Like people go, I'm afraid. Yeah. Right. It's a legit fear. So with a lot of my clients, fear at some level, even though if they're confident, there is an element of fear that's perhaps maybe if they don't have the skill that we get to eliminate.
And fear is one of the worst ones because that's the one that can cripple you from doing something.
Yeah, everyone has it at some levels, but is it going to stop you or are you going to face it? Yeah. Right, that's the difference. everyone who's successful has fear, but they're willing to face it. Like you would have had fear at some level doing anything, even podcasting, but you're willing, you have the courage. And courage isn't the absence of fear.
Exactly.
Courage is you being willing to go, hey, it's okay. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to do 4 days of YouTubing to become an expert on how to do sound editing. I'm willing for it to be terrible, is what you're saying. Right? And you're okay with, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter. I'm going to enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
Like these are a few things that you need to have in place. We should make it a tip video instead of going,
this part will be.
Like you need to be clear about what you want to be able to do. And for me, I go, hey, you know, I can do this. There are many things I can do, and I'm clear about it. Like I can't, hammer a nail. I'm not like the can-do kind of person. Like I'm a can-do person. I just don't want to do it.
Let's get someone else to do it.
Can we hire someone to to fix the table?
Yeah.
I'm just not a boy's boy. It's just me. I'm that idiot.
Like, I get it.
But I'm good here. And I'm good at thinking. That's probably what I'm good at. I think through. Doesn't seem like it now, but I generally think through my thoughts. And it's more important for myself than actually what comes out. And so that's where I'm good at. And I've just stayed a lot here. And I go, okay, I can do this motivational speaking thing. I want to do it. I like it. It feels good. And over time, I was also clear, I'm not an event organizer. So I'm not going to go into keeping all the money by being an event organizer. Not me, no. I'm not into networking. I get invited to a lot of 5-star dinners and this and that.
It's not me,
I kindly decline. It's not me. I am the guy, 45 minutes on stage, speak out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good fun, a bit of book signing, pictures, good, I'm out. Like I've had to also develop that clarity. And then that public speaking coaching, like in silence,
do you remember the first
in the shadows,
the first time
not at all. Not at all.
You got your check out of it and you were like, oh, so this is what I'm doing now.
I never did it for the money. So I don't know.
So how
I remember a big one, but that wasn't the first one.
But which is the one that most stands out to you where you were like, oh wow, yes, this is me now?
The big one. A big one. Yeah.
And you were just like, okay, so this is what I do now and this is what I enjoy.
No, then it wasn't the big one.
Was it a relief or was it worse because you're like, okay, now I have to be accountable for... No.
Because the quality of work didn't relate to the paycheck. Like the quality of work.
Not accountable to bring a good thing because of the money. Accountable to, okay, I've set myself a level now. I need to stay at this level or become better.
No, because I'm being authentic. So part of my speaking is I'm authentic when I speak. There's no comparison. And so there's no backwards because I'm constantly evolving as a person. I will look at my own speech or speeches from 2 years ago and go, I could have done better, but I'm in a different place. I've written a book, or I've written many books. I never look back at it because I know that if I look back,
you're gonna be
I will critique the heck out of it, man. I'm gonna, what is this rubbish? Purely because now I'm in a different space. I'll probably say it differently, probably shorter, differently, more better, concise, punchier. But I'm a different person.
But that's the beauty of growing, not just seeing your children grow, but seeing yourself grow. Somebody sent me a video of a friend of mine. We went to a theme park. We were about 17, 18. Chesington in the UK.
Okay.
So we were about 18 and I was watching the video and I was like, it was like an hour long of just us chatting, and running around and goofing around. There was like 8 of us and I was just like, how far am I from that guy right now? He was still a cool guy for the time.
Sure.
And he was fun and he was an idiot. And we were all stupid. And at the time we had the most fun ever. But just a kind of like,
man,
lucky I'm not that guy anymore.
I've come to realize we're never, even for the cool folks, we're never as cool as we think we are.
Right?
We're never. So I'm sorry for all the cool people.
Never.
I don't think I'm cool, but those people who think they're cool, you're never as cool as you think you are.
The same thing as when I see old pictures of when I used to work out. And at that time, I thought I was so ripped, so muscly or whatever. And
Make way for the gym.
And then I was like, oh, I look like that. And I thought I looked like that.
Man, I thought I looked so good.
Yeah, right?
And you do look good. So imagine the majority of people.
Right? So with these books, how are the books going now? Are you still thinking of progressing more? Or how many have you published now that are available?
About 14 or so.
Wow.
Yeah,
they're all
I
the
used
same?
I used to write. I still do write. That's just my way of when I'm hanging out with myself.
Yeah.
I'm writing. But these days with social media, so they turn into small, short clips. So I can't say I focus very much on books, and it's never been a strength in terms of we've sold millions of copies in terms of books. It's always been a business card, so to speak, or packaged into my events. So if a Fortune 500 company calls in, and that's been how we did most of our book sales, was as a package deal. Or a government entity calls me in, and I'm doing a talk, and there's 5,000 or 10,000 folks, as well as my talk, they get 5 or 10,000 copies.
Wow.
Now, if this was, for example, on New York Times or Amazon, it will be a bestseller.
Yeah.
But it's not through those channels.
Yeah.
So I didn't go, or I wasn't successful. We never pushed it through those channels. That wasn't a marketing strategy. I was writing for myself.
Yeah.
Then decided to put it out. Yeah. And then we just incorporated as part of a business model to just go with the speaking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So to answer your question, leadership, motivation, communication.
Okay.
But I have a feeling that, people who read books are more than nostalgic kind of folks.
Yeah.
But the reality of consumption and where we're going.
So do you have like online stuff now that people can also
it's
get?
more like audiobooks and that's the segue. That's the segue.
I'll try and get you guys some of those stuff. There must be something that you can.
The segue. I'll give you a link. We'll make a link available for your guys to one of the books as an audiobook.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the way. I love listening to audiobooks.
Okay.
With the same thing with the podcasting and that, because I do like reading the old-fashioned reading book.
Yeah.
But I do like to be able to be training and listening to something, or be driving and listening to something as well. And there are a lot of people out there that just can't read a book.
Yeah.
And not that they can't read it, but they don't have the patience to sit there and space out time where, okay, I'm going to read for the next hour or whatever. Yeah. So I think audiobooks are fantastic to just be able to just play it in the background, play it before you sleep, play it while you're doing other things.
See what works for you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Talk to me about what happens next.
Serious.
Yeah, it always goes serious towards the end. How do you feel about?
Here we go.
How do you feel?
Here we go.
How do you feel about Lights Off?
He even warned me, but I didn't think about it.
And you know what? I don't usually warn people.
Yeah.
I kind of like to get people on the spot and
fair enough. It's still on the spot because
exactly.
I haven't thought about it.
What are your views on that? Are you aware of death? Are you? Is it something important to you?
I try to not think about it because I think if I think about it, I'd be afraid.
Is that a bad thing?
Being afraid?
I mean, could fear not turn into awareness, then turn into appreciation, then turn into something else? Or is it a case of...
I'm at a stage now where I'm quite conscious on a day-to-day basis. If not day-to-day, then definitely every second day. I'm very quick to adjust and be conscious if something is not right. I'm quite in tune with how I'm feeling and my thoughts. And because of things that I've experienced in life, like losing my dad when I was 24, right? And going, wait a second, I thought this thing happens to everyone else. I didn't think my dad would actually get cancer and 6 months he's gone. This is the kind of stuff you hear happen to other people. I was really angry, and perhaps maybe even to this very day, I still have a bit of anger because he was the kind of dad who actually wanted to spend time with me. And I'd be like, oh, no, I want to hang out with my friends. Because I didn't have that understanding, we are on a limited time. Had I known this, man, I would spend every single minute with you. Right? I'd give everything away for an extra minute with you. Can't have that. Next best option, spend a bit more time with mum. She's around, so spend time with her. So I still can't say I'm a great son, but still I'm a lot more aware. I want to do the video calls, even though sometimes it'll be like, hey, mom, it's 2 minutes. Right? I love you. I got to go. I had a guest on the podcast, Muhammad Banna, really cool guy.
Singer?
No.
Who's the Banna? That sounds familiar.
He's an Emirati guy that heads the Lead Ventures group, right? A local entity here. And he had something really cool. Just it came up because I was thinking about mum. Because I still have it here. He has it for his mum and dad, and he has it in Arabic. So Allah yahfadhum, like that, as the name that he's got them saved in. And I thought that was really cool. So where's my mum? Right, so it's not under mum because I tried to go to mum. She's right at the top. But But I've got here, thank you God for Mama. She's right at the top.
Yeah.
So every time I see her name,
I have mine as Mother Dearest as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It gives me immediate thing to be grateful, right?
Yeah.
It's a gratitude thing. It's a positive vibe.
Yeah.
And also just a reminder to go, hey, a couple of minutes. So the fear is good, I guess. It's not something that I've thought about. That, I don't feel that this might, I'm quite aware that I've got a lot of paradoxes in here. I like to think that my work is significant. I remember when I was younger, I said, hey, I want to inspire 1 billion people. I ended up, after reaching a few million people, got the title, The Man Inspiring Millions. So that's still around, like Kevin Abdulrahman, The Man Inspiring Millions. I'm saying this because I realize that as much as I'd like to have an impact, we're also insignificant.
Yeah. Does your impact matter kind of thing?
We are, at the end of the day, you're not as cool as you think. And you are nowhere as important as you think. Nowhere. I don't care who you are. In the span of like history of 500 years or 1,000 years, there is no way.
Because that's another one of the worlds in the worlds, right?
Yeah.
Your world that you think is everything, because it's all you see and it's all you breathe and it's all that's important
You're
to you.
just a speck, man. You're just a speck. So that keeps me real, I think, and just realizing, don't take yourself seriously. Like, you're stressing out about little things.
Because a lot of people, I find people that, to mention, to hit on what you said, because you said it scares you. And I know that a lot of people don't think about it because it scares you. And my thing is, no, because it scares you, think about it more, because like you said with your father, Allah yarhamah, and stuff, that there could come a point where you know it's coming for you.
Sure.
Where you'll be given a time. And you don't want to then...
It could be today.
Yeah, but you don't want to then be figuring it out in that last week.
Yes. That's
true. You know what I mean? Because then you've spent if you haven't come to terms with it and you haven't been aware of it and you haven't, then you're spending that last week trying to figure that out.
Yes.
So...
As opposed to being aware of it now.
As opposed to being aware of it now, that if, something does happen, you've kind of not... I don't think anyone will ever come to terms with it.
Yeah.
But you've conditioned your way to take things a little maybe easier or...
So I guess whatever, perhaps then I'm aware of it, but maybe not in the context of death. More on my wording would be limited time that we have.
So you never think about the thing for me is the flip moment.
Okay.
The lights out after, not after.
What's
happening?
That I haven't given much thought.
That is because, again, and that comes from selfishness and me thinking that everything that I have is so important that I don't want to lose. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to not be able to be there for my children. I mean, for me, my children is like, my biggest fear is for them to not have me there. And I'm not saying that in a way that, oh, I'm so important, but I have so much I want to give them, and so much love, and so much knowledge, and so much empathy, and so much, and teach them so much to make such great human beings. I don't want to not be there for them.
Sure.
Like, I grew up for the first 7 years without my father, and I never really spoke about it at the time, but even though my mum did the best job, I still kind of felt different.
Sure. Yeah.
My dad wasn't around. I was different to the other kids. There were things that I couldn't speak to my mum about, So I think with this kind of thing, it's a strange thing.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. It's a very interesting thing as well. Because
it's very personal. You got to spend a lot of time thinking about it. Like the answer, you might get it in a couple of hours.
Right. You might never get it.
Or it's a continuous thing, right? Because
there might never be an answer either. Yeah.
What's important for you also changes in the world, man. Like, I'm not a dad. I don't plan on being a dad, but I'd like to be a damn good uncle. I know I can't be a cool uncle because that's my other brother. He's just naturally cool. I can't beat him at being naturally cool.
Yeah.
Right? But I want to be an uncle that you can be proud of. Or not you.
Yeah.
Just my 2 nephews or whoever's around. At the moment, there's just 2. For them to be proud of. So I remember the time when he was born, the first one, Kareem was born. That was a defining moment. And then also now Hakeem, a couple of years ago. Like, for me, the most important thing is I just want to make sure that they go, that's my Uncle Kev.
Yeah, exactly.
That means the world to me.
Yeah.
And it just means that I need to be in good shape. So every time I try to be lazy, I'm like, 1, you feel good when you go and work out. 2, you don't want to be a fat uncle to Kareem.
Exactly, right?
He'd be like, Uncle Kev, just send the Porsche.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure you're not in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want that.
I don't want you picking me up from school with that.
Right. I want him to be able to go, let's go to the club, Unc.
But this is the other fascinating thing that fascinates me about it, that Nothing is promised, dude. So you can stay in great shape. You can do all the training.
no.
You can take all the vitamins. You can do all that
No,
stuff,
it's
and
not.
then
Get a dislocated leg or something.
that's it.
Yeah.
So I think that's
Oh,
a
your
very-
lights are out.
Yeah. So I think that's also the very interesting. I mean, I look at it not in a negative way, more in awe, more in a you sneaky.
Yeah.
It's like because you'll never be able to kind of, So it's like, well played, well played.
Yeah.
This
is a game where you're not going to come out a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a game that you might not even see the finish of.
Yeah. So I guess I don't dwell on it, just because if I dwell on it, it'll just be negative. So I'm not going to dwell on it.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
I like kind of getting people's feedback on all of that stuff. Is there anything that you want to push? Your podcast. Excellent podcast. How do they do it? Not how do they make the podcast, but it's cool.
No,
how do they do it?
How do they do it? Yeah.
You got some really cool guests on there as well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah.
What's it? It's how do they do it on YouTube, or is it Kevin Abdulrahman? How do they do it?
On youtube.com / Kevin Abdulrahman.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you'll see it. There's a playlist, which is
and that's something that you're gonna keep.
Yeah, man. I didn't do the podcast for a good 5 years, so it was 5 years of procrastination, and then 10 months in the making, and we launched with the coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, who would have thought? Like,
but I mean, you have some really good guests on there, so I
they're
think it's
just
gonna be
friends.
really good to watch.
Yeah, it's just
people.
Friends who I felt that I could speak with, and that if someone is either not in Dubai or they don't have the opportunity to meet with these individuals because they're busy or whatever it is, they can get some tips. Some tips and thoughts and strategies, and then just see what works for you. And I haven't picked a certain niche. I've just picked the niche of it being friends, purely because I admire different perspectives, and I want to have a sit down with these individuals so I can learn.
So it's kind of like today's one. This is the whole thing that I'm doing with my one. It's the same thing. I just like
it's personal for me. Yeah,
I have so many friends that are so interesting, and I'm
not sure if you learned anything out of today, but hey,
no, for sure. I mean, a lot of people will know about what you do and that kind of stuff, but maybe not had a personal conversation with you or known how you feel about certain things. So that's why I talk about random subjects and these kind of things, because it's how we would have an actual conversation.
It's true. Yeah.
It's not structured. It's not there's a couple of do's and don'ts. Don't talk about this, don't talk about that. But it's not scripted. It's an actual flowing conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
So this is my phone call.
This is his phone call. Look at the sneaky bugger.
This is the way I do it, instead of just
WhatsApping him.
You. Exactly.
No, I was thinking about all the WhatsApp messages we exchanged,
and I've just been like,
this guy, this idiot.
Call me, man.
Just say so, man.
No. With stuff like that, that's fine.
But see, here's the thing. Part of communication is we make, right? It's George Bernard Shaw who said the mistake we make when it comes to communication
is don't communicate.
No, it's the assumption we make that we're being understood.
Yeah.
He didn't say that. I just paraphrased it. Right? We make the assumption.
Yeah.
Whereas if this is your mode of communication,
Yeah.
you'd be like, hey, it would be easier for me to be on a phone call.
Yeah.
I would have probably replied, it's easier for me to just get a message.
Yeah. And then we would have been like,
but we would have understood each other better and
Yeah.
and communicated this way. So no more messages from me, man.
yeah, but then you're not going to answer my calls either. So
Probably.
it looks like we're not going to speak again after this.
Is that working?
That's always working.
All right. Don't have it, but I want to leave you with an exercise. All right. I want to leave you with an exercise, and that is take a piece of paper and draw a black dot, and then stare at that piece of paper for like 30 seconds. And after you've done that, ask yourself, what do you see? When I do this with a lot of folks, right? And I do this because this is something I learned many years ago about a teacher who did this with the students. Right? Given every single person a piece of paper with a black dot in it, and ask them to study this piece of paper for like half a minute. Kind of like what you were saying when you walk into the room and you see everything about the room.
Yeah.
So you told them, study this paper, everything about this paper, study it. What do you see? And after that, he would ask every student, and so I ask every attendee, what do you see? The number one answer is what? What do you think is the number one answer?
A dot.
a black dot. Everyone sees the black dot.
Not the white, all that space
What they don't
around
see
it.
is the white space. And this is life, man. Whatever your situation is, and I don't take away from the pain that people go through, the suffering. We all have our pain and sufferings and issues and mental challenges that, you know, our own internal fights. Everyone has them. Everyone has them. But it's the black dot, right? And unfortunately, we all just focus on the black dot. There's a whole white piece of paper. Just imagine it, right? There's a whole white piece of paper. There's a lot to be grateful for. There are a lot of little things that we can be grateful for. A friend of mine, Dr. Salaha Afridi, she shared a post, and I really recommend that you follow her. I don't usually recommend people to follow other people, but I believe that you should be following people who can add value to you, like who can at least make you think, right? So just think so that it can help you operate better as a person on any level. And she asked a really good question in a post, which was, if tomorrow the world you live in only consisted of what you're grateful of today,
what kind of world would you have?
What kind of world would you have? Man, I literally stopped what I was doing. Literally, I stopped what I was doing. I practice gratitude every day. I'm conscious of gratitude. I do it every day. But something about that question, and it was so specific. Like, are you saying tomorrow, if I'm not grateful for this yummy coffee that I'm having right now, I won't have it tomorrow? Oh man, I've got a long list for you.
And it makes people like yourself who are also grateful all the day stop for a second and go, did I forget something that I should be grateful for?
I started right. I wrote
it makes
a
you nervous,
book.
like, oh, I forgot.
I wrote a book. Like, of all the little things, man. I'm grateful for my family members. The fact that we have a WhatsApp group. I'm grateful that I can hear them laugh.
For my phone, for my charger, for my this.
I didn't go that. But, you know, I started just writing my taste buds. A few months ago, I had food poisoning. Man, if anyone knows me, they know I love food and I love coffee. And I'm not sure I've figured out which one's 1 and 2. But these are my 1 and 2. Future wife is going to be 3. Right? It's just the reality of it. Or 4 maybe after work. But these are just realities of Kevin. When I had food poisoning, I didn't eat for 5 days. I was saying no to coffee and food for 5 days because I didn't have an appetite. And so 39 years, I wasn't grateful for what I took for granted, which is having an appetite. Man, to every day, and it was on the list, I'm grateful that I have an appetite because I realized what it means not to have an appetite. And I really hated that person. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is... So, but that exercise, the point of it, once I wrote a whole book on this, pretty much that list kept on going.
Became a mantra, right?
Man, it gives you a lot of peace. A lot. Now, I'll give you the context of why this is really important and how it could help anyone that's watching this or if they're listening to this. If they're going through a tough time, as a public speaking coach, when I'm working with CEOs, world leaders, or politicians, this is a global thing that I'm doing. I'm on a plane 300 days of the year. When we had the pandemic, planes were grounded, which means my business went to zero. Any CEO of a Fortune 500 company doesn't care about public speaking in this very moment because they have a company that they need to keep afloat. I understand it. But my business went to super successful for the time being, zero. Right? So I've got a lot to complain about. But on my list of gratitude, success, being successful, business, things that are important for me, making money was at the bottom of my list. If you're conscious of it, you will realize that these things are actually at the bottom of your list. It gives you so much calmness and to be at peace with realizing that whatever your situation is, you can choose to be happy. Right? Sure, we all want better things. I can't wait to fly. Man, I'm waiting for it. Right? I can't wait to meet my clients again. I don't like this online thing. It's
exactly.
I like the personal feel to feel. That's just part of my business. I like it. I'm excited for the future. So it doesn't matter that at this point in time, it's zero. It doesn't matter that at this point in time, there is financial constraint. Sure, these are realities. Your landlord still wants rent. Right? That's going to happen. Or if you've lost your job, I'm not taking that away from you. You got to have a roof over your kids' heads. You want to be able to provide for your kids. I understand that all that is painful, but you can go about it from a place of peace. Because if you're stressed, if you're negative,
it's not going to help anything, is it?
you're not going to put your best foot forward. That was my last thing. Kind of long thing.
What a nice last thing to end with.
Yeah. I apologize. It was long, but if there's anything out of this whole clip, you should cut out the entire first half and just put this last bit, because this is something that's perhaps actionable for myself, and then for anyone that wants to actually take it on board.
Man. It's really good.